open a query in Power Query Editor. You need to identify the percentage of empty values in each column as quickly as possible. Which data preview option should you select? A. Show white space. B. Column profile. C. Column distribution. D. Column quality. You should select D. Column quality. Your company has training videos that are published to Microsoft Stream. You need to surface the videos directly in a Microsoft Power BI dashboard. Which type of tile should you add? A. Video. B. Custom streaming data. C. Text box. D. Web content. D. Web content is the right answer. You have a prospective customer list that contains 1,500 rows of data. The list contains the following fields: first name, last name, email address, state/region, phone number. You import the list into Power Query Editor. You need to ensure that the list contains records for each state/region to which you want to target a marketing campaign. Which two actions should you perform? A. Open the advanced editor. B. Select column quality. C. Enable column profiling based on entire dataset. D. Select column distribution. E. Select column profile. The actions to perform are: C. Enable column profiling based on entire dataset. E. Select column profile. You have a report that contains 4 pages. Each page contains slicers for the same 4 fields. Users report that when they select values in a slicer on one page, the selections are not persisted on other pages. You need to recommend a solution to ensure that users can select a value once to filter the results on all the pages. What are 2 possible recommendations to achieve this goal? A. Replace the slicers with report level filters. B. Sync the slicers across the pages. C. Create a bookmark for each slicer value. D. Replace the slicers with page-level filters. E. Replace the slicers with visual-level filters. To achieve this goal, below are the recommendations. A. Add a report-level filter to filter an entire report. The visuals on the active page, and on all pages in the report, change to reflect the new filter. B. You can sync a slicer and use it on any or all pages in a report. You import 2 Microsoft Excel tables named Customer and Address into Power Query. Customer contains the following columns: Customer ID, Customer Name, Phone, Email Address, Address ID. Address contains the following columns: Address ID, Address Line 1, Address Line 2, City, State/Region, Country, Postal Code. The Customer ID and Address ID columns represent unique rows. You need to create a query that has 1 row per customer. Each row must contain city, state/region, and country for each customer. What should you do? A. Merge the customer and address tables. B. Transpose the customer and address tables. C. Group the customer and address tables by the address ID column. D. Append the customer and address tables. You should A. Merge the customer and address tables. You have the following 3 versions of an Azure SQL database: Test, Production, Development. You have a dataset that uses the development database as a data source. You need to configure the dataset so that you can easily change the data source between the development, test, and production database servers from powerbi.com. Which should you do? A. Create a JSON file that contains the database server names. Import the JSON file to the dataset. B. Create a parameter and update the queries to use the parameter. C. Create a query for each database server and hide the development tables. D. Set the data source privacy level to organizational and use the replace value power query M function. You should create a parameter and update the queries to use the parameter. You have a CSV file that contains user complaints. The file contains a column named logged. Logged contains the date and time each complaint occurred. The data in logged is in the following format: the 31st of December 2018 at 8:59. You need to be able to analyze the complaints by the logged date and use a built-in date hierarchy. I split the logged column by using at as the delimiter. B. Apply a transformation to extract the last 11 characters of the logged column and set the data type of the new column to date. C. Apply a transformation to extract the last 11 characters of the logged column. D. Apply the parse function from the date transformations options to the logged column. I split the logged column by using at as the delimiter. You have an Azure SQL database that contains sales transactions. The database is updated frequently. You need to generate reports from the data to detect fraudulent transactions. The data must be visible within 5 minutes of an update. How should you configure the data connection? A. Add a SQL statement. B. Set data connectivity mode to direct query. C. Set the command timeout in minutes setting. D. Set data connectivity mode to import. B. Set data connectivity mode to direct query. You have a data model that contains many complex tax expressions. The expressions contain frequent references to the related and related table functions. You need to recommend a solution to minimize the use of the related and related table functions. What should you recommend? I split the model into multiple models. B. Hide unused columns in the model. C. Merge tables by using Power Query. D. Transpose the required columns. C. Set data connectivity mode to direct query. You have a large dataset that contains more than 1 million rows. The table has a date-time column named date. You need to reduce the size of the data model without losing access to any data. What should you do? A. Round the hour of the date column to start of hour. B. Change the data type of the date column to text. C. Trim the date column. D. Split the date column into two columns, one that contains only the time and another that contains only the date. D. Split the date column into two columns, one that contains only the time and another that contains only the date.